The board oversight of educational quality is one of its primary responsibilities. The mission of higher education is to educate. We don't exist for any other reason. We educate. If a board doesn't know how successful the institution is in fulfilling its mission, then the board isn't doing its job. It's not a job that most board members come to easily or sometimes even willingly, because they often feel ill-prepared to take a look at how well the educational mission is being fulfilled. They're more comfortable in other areas of board work, such as overview of finance or buildings and grounds, audit committee. But if you really look at what we're there to do, it's to ensure the delivery of the mission, and the mission is education. And so I don't think there's any way around it. Board members need to understand this responsibility and the best ways to deliver on that. To get more comfortable with this topic, I think they have to spend some time talking about it. First, they have to understand that this is a responsibility and why it's a responsibility. Once they have that, I think they need to spend a little time getting to know what is our academic program. From the graduates to the undergraduates, what do we deliver? What's our academic product? What are we selling? I think board members need to spend a little time understanding the work of faculty, talking to faculty in structured conversations about learning, about the goals of learning, and about the ways in which faculty assess learning. Board members could spend some time learning more about accreditation, because with regional accreditation, which is important to institutions because it's tied to federal funding, if they understand accreditation, they understand that many of the drivers for assessing student learning come from accreditation, the process of accreditation. The accreditors want to know what an institution has done to establish learning goals, to measure learning, to use what they've learned to improve learning, and to set a cycle of continuous improvement in education. There are a few other things that board members could do. They need to pay attention to the funding of education, the funding of teaching and learning. If there are goals that we need to accomplish, if we are missing some of these goals, is there funding that's required to help develop and achieve those goals more efficiently? I think it's more important for board members now to fulfill this responsibility than it has been in the past. And the reason for that is there are so many external demands placed on higher education, so many questions about the quality of education, the product, if you will, at the end of an educational experience, the return on investment, business terms, but I think they make the point that people invest in higher education, students and parents and others invest in higher education, and the question is, so how do we know that we got our money's worth from that? There are lots of ways in which people look at individual students or individual activities and say, that's good learning. But for the board, it has to be a broader question. It has to be, how does our institution do in delivering on its educational goals? And that's critical because of these outside questions from funders, from the federal government, from parents. The general public wants to know, is higher education worth it? And if we can't answer the question by talking about education, then we haven't done our jobs.